Hello, welcome to Daybreak Star Radio. I hope all of you out there are having a great day so far. And today we are joined by Linda Lyons, who is an amazing visual artist and has exhibited her work across Alaska and just America as well. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what great nation you come from as well?
I'm a visual artist, a painter, and I live in Alaska. I'm from Alaska. My mother's side of the family is from an island called Kodiak, where you get the Kodiak brown bear, and they are that part of my family is Allutiq slash Suqpiaq. So I grew up in Alaska, and later on. Uh, always loved art. I was always drawing and painting, but went on to get a degree in biology. I also loved the sciences, and realized later on in life that I was really more visually oriented, and I really wanted to pursue art in a serious way.
Yeah, so you said that you grew up in Alaska, but you also lived in Chile for 18 years. And how do you think
Yes.
the time at the School of Fine Arts, the Vina del Mar, kind of influenced your art and style?
Well, there's a particular style with which is of the time was magic realism, which is more associated with Central America, Mexico in particular. You think of Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo, and some of the other artists that were painting in the 30s and the 40s. I really like that style. And there's also American artists that were also painting in that style, which is bright colors, a lot of volume, sort of a stylized version of reality. And I think it's hard to say, that kind of art wasn't really prevalent in Chile. I mean, I did see some of it in the some of the museums. Um, at the time, most of the time I was there was under the military dictatorship. So the arts were really, and my artist friends were more focused on more social commentary and in it sort of a protest against the regime in their way. So, but I was sort of painting the same subject matter that I've always been interested in, which is natural forms and animals and plants and people, in the environment.
Obviously, now that you're a big artist, you've had your works exhibited at Allen Memorial and Anchorage. And how do you think getting an audience or starting to gain an audience almost influenced your art? Or did you think about what you're making in a different way or who you were portraying it to?
Yeah, I think I've always sort of painted and worked in a bubble, in the sense that um, I have had I see my work when I was even a child, and I can see there was a seed there of something that I've been trying to develop over time. Um, so I didn't necessarily think about what was happening out in the world. And I had I think, advantage of starting out. This will tell you how old I am. The social media wasn't a thing like Instagram, and in fact, the internet was just starting to come, into there were no smartphones. Uh, when I was in college, we didn't even have computers, so.
And do you think your interest in biology in college and even beyond has kind of influenced how you looked or have has helped you find your own voice?
Very much so. I really think that scientists and artists have the same mindset. In that, uh, a scientist and an artist, we're always asking questions. Um, we're perpetually curious and want to know more. We're observing all the time and trying to find answers and conclusions. And in particular, biology for me was sort of a natural path because I was very interested in nature, and I was able to, a childhood in Alaska, to just spend a lot of time just wandering, through the woods and collecting things and the time that I spent with my Allutiq grandmother on Kodiak, it really was a very uh, important part of my childhood in that she knew all the words and names for all the plants and all the berries. We fished, we berry collected. Sometimes we would go out and we'd find native artifacts on the beaches and in the cliff sides. And so the world was really a very interesting place, and all the fauna and flora and ecological systems are just really important to me, and it's a big part of how I see the world and what I how I approach my artwork.
And what would you say is your favorite medium to work in?
Definitely oil paint, oil on canvas. I'm pretty much I don't want to say a one trick pony, but I've just I really love the fluidity of oil paint, and that my process is very much sort of the composition evolves on the canvas more than any kind of preparation or drawings that I may do. So being able to use a medium like oil, which doesn't dry right away, and I can move it around and it blends nicely with other colors, and I can change things, and I can let the what's happening on the canvas uh, help me, see things that weren't there, or things preconceived ideas or idea of how I want the painting to go. So yeah, definitely oil. I do like to draw. I used to draw a lot, but oil paint is really the best on canvas or panel.
And I also heard that you teach as well. And what is kind of one of the first things that you teach children or kids that you're working with when you're teaching them to paint?
There are two things. When it's with children, and especially when I taught. There's a program here in Alaska. They would send working artists to villages, and you'd spend a week or two, or maybe more. Uh, and these are very remote, really lovely places. It's really a privilege to be able to spend time in some of these villages where a Nupiaq, like on the Bering Sea, and another one that was on the Yukon River. Uh, but the first thing that with children is I think it's really important to get their creative mind going, and not necessarily suggest like subject matter or um, I want them to start looking, first, to start observing. And so I would just take them out. We just walk around and the village, and we'd look at things, and I would comment on certain colors and structures, and sort of get their minds, you know, thinking for themselves about art. And and then one of the other important thing is, to me is I know this sounds very simple, but something that I think is not really covered is like how to paint. So, like, we assume that people know how to pick up a brush and put paint on it, and put it down, and there's so much more to it, in the sense of like how much paint do you put on, how what the paint is, uh, how many times you need to go back and pick up the paint. 'Cause a lot of times, even with my adult students, who are just learning how to paint, would take a paintbrush and maybe try to scrub out all the color onto the surface, and then just sort of encourage them to go back to the. And the other thing that's really important and fun, the kids love this, is color mixing, trying to understand colors.
Well, you've obviously influenced a lot of young lives and adult lives as well. Do you think these kids have influenced your art style at all?
Definitely. The kids have really um, reminded me to always have that uh, curiosity of a child, of the questioning, the wonder. Um, Kids are naturally curious and naturally excited about everything. And I have to, that's the part of myself that I have to nurture and keep, keep the cynicism out, keep that joy and wonder of things around you, and the joy of the simple things. That's really where to me, all the beauty and joy is in just the very simple, beautiful things around me every day.
And do you have any advice or encouraging words for upcoming young artists in the Northwest or just in America?
Yes, yes, I would. First of all, don't give up, and be organized in your pursuit of opportunities. It's really important to get your art out there, sort of keep a log. And it's difficult for artists. We usually don't have a very good executive, administrative part of our brains, but I keep a notebook, and I try to keep up on opportunities to show my work, grant, or fellowship opportunities, and you just apply and to as many that you think are relevant to your the kind of work that you want to show, and you will get rejected most of the time, but you will, with persistence, um, uh, get that yes in the mail. I'd also say just trust yourself, work every day. You know, for me, it's really important to just come to just to go to the studio. And sometimes you don't necessarily produce any art, but you're there. It's like a job, and the time that you spend here, even though you're not necessarily producing something, you are working out things in your mind. And there's so many things. I mean, just spend time, you know, trying to connect to networks of other artists. It helps a lot. Get some artist friends, and if you don't have a network, the internet has been great. My husband and I, as artists, we've made wonderful friends across the country and really the world. People that maybe we'll have a chance to meet someday, but we've known them for years, and we connect and we share what we're doing. That's really important. It can be a lonely pursuit. It's a very individual pursuit, but if you love it and it means a lot to you, be persistent and just do it.